Man.
You ready for this?
Let's go, baby. Oh my
Let's
gosh.
do it.
Everybody can hear us, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
They all know that we're here now.
You just can't see us.
Hang on. Okay. Oh, my goodness, dude. Oh, man. You know what we should do? As Craig always says, focus up.
Yeah.
How we doing, everybody? Welcome into the Game Changers podcast. My name is Dan Teskey, CEO of Damascus Gaming. And, it's official. We have replaced Craig. Craig's been replaced. We threw him out. For some reason, he was actually asking to get paid, which is outrageous. So we threw him out of the podcast and out of the store. So, Craig's moving on to other pastures.
Not greener.
I will say, as a cart pusher and item scanner, he will not be missed. But in all the other things, that's totally fine. What's up, Feisty? How you doing? Hope
Good
you're doing
morning,
good.
Feisty.
Dude, it's been an interesting week.
It definitely has. It's been an interesting month, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I actually just realized that the light on that side is actually off. So hang on a second. Let me do this real quick. We have these really quick remotes.
Amazing remotes when they want to work.
There we go. Haha, I got it.
But Moodle seems to have that, magical touch.
I do indeed. Oh man, dude. So yeah, we got like a bunch of stuff to kind of talk about a little bit today. I'm trying to like fix my arm because it's still like trying to scoot down. Here we go. Aha. I win. All right, let's get into this thing, right? So we have been getting asked a lot, and I mean a lot, like every other day of my life. How do we join Damascus Gaming? How do we get involved with the esports teams? And I'm glad that Luis is here because this is my chief operations officer, everybody, by the way. Hello.
Hello.
Say hi, Luis. So as the two founding members of Damascus Gaming, because we are indeed the founding members, by the way. This is a founder over here. As you can see with this awesome black button down. Yeah, he hates being in front of the camera. I have to drag him in front of the camera all the time, so he was not happy about being in front of the camera today, but it's okay. He looks great. I think you look
Craig,
good.
you're definitely missed.
You look good. But no, we get asked constantly, right? How do I get involved with being on Damascus Gaming's esports team? So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today because it's not as straightforward, and I think the best way to describe this, by the way, is more of along the lines of don't call us, we'll call you.
Absolutely.
I think that's kind of the best way to describe our
as it is with
policy.
any major sport. When you think about it, like soccer, basketball, baseball, tennis, anything, when you're an athlete and you're competing, you're going to get noticed, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get scouted. And that's the same thing in esports. So if you're really good at Rainbow Six Siege, CSGO, Halo, Mortal Kombat, or any other games, right, that Damascus Gaming participates in, you will be noticed. And at that point, we will strike a conversation with you. That is the best way to just do it. And keep your profile clean. That's essential.
And by the way, that's how it's happened for everybody. I don't think that we have ever signed a player that reached out to us. We have reached out to everybody. We're like, hey, we're interested in picking you up as a player. What do you think? And
nothing against the gumption.
Not at all.
The hustle. We appreciate the hustle. We respect it. But the reality is that if you're not on our radar, there's usually a reason. And it's because you haven't made it yet.
Yep. So, and that's kind of the same thing that, I know people see larger esport organizations, like Optic, FaZe, or like whatever. And what I always tell people is, hey, would you reach out and ask them, can I play for your organization? The reality is no, because you wouldn't even know who to reach out to, right?
Absolutely.
We're the same. We do work on keeping ourselves kind of low to the ground, so we're kind of accessible to everybody, and we want to keep it that way. It's just one of those things that, I appreciate the people reaching out and going, oh my gosh, I really want to play for you guys. It's just for us, we're trying to make sure that we're getting the right people into the right spots. The second
Especially
thing,
as a startup, right?
100%. The other side too, for content, that's a different story. If you are interested in becoming a part of the Damascus Gaming content creation team, reach out to me. I will get you guys hooked up. What's up? Adi's in the chat.
Hello.
So, and I will say this: if you're interested in being a part of the Damascus Gaming content team, like I said, just reach out to me. We do have some requirements. I prefer for you guys to be in El Paso. I also like to see that you guys have been making content for a little while.
Show some experience in that belt.
It does kind of help to kind of forward that a little bit. And here's the deal: if it's not you've been doing content for a while, it's you've been here at Damascus Gaming for a while. So I see that hey, you're at least consistent in something. Kind of like getting a college degree. We're gonna prove that you can do something for an extended period of time.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely. You need to get trained in it.
Yeah. So we're going to show you. So, because we do have actually a couple of people that are part of the content creation team that have not really been making content before. However, they've been here almost every single day because they're awesome people.
Well, and just like admissions into college, you can either show that you have the GPA from high school, or you're a valuable member to the community.
See.
Those are the two best ways to get into college.
See.
So.
Yep, absolutely. So anyway, dude, let's talk about some good stuff here, right? So I actually am glad you're on the podcast for this one because esports is like all baby. So, Luis.
Yes.
Walk me through. This is going to be a good conversation for you. I want you to walk me through. When a player comes up to you, brand new player, right? They're about ready to get into a game, and they go, Luis, I want to become an esports pro. What is a good foundation to build for myself before I start to reach for the stars? How do you lay the proper foundation in any esport? We're not going specifics, just the foundation, the fundamentals. Walk me through, by the way. What are you telling a brand new? I mean, like has never even picked up a controller.
Asking me, hey, I want to become an esports pro.
Yep.
The first question that always comes out to me is it a want or is it a need? And that's not something that you can answer. That's something that you're going to learn over time, right? Do you have the discipline to commit to the studies that it requires? Are you aware that it's a job? You're committing yourself to learning, to studying, to reading, to watching reviews. So a lot of times it's, do you have the time available?
Yeah.
Do you have the discipline to keep yourself on track?
Yeah.
And then how badly do you want this?
Yeah, 100%. So now, obviously, I want it really bad, right? So obviously, my best way to become really good at a video game, right, is just to jump in and start playing 12 hours a day. Just jump in ranked matchmaking and just play all day, right? 12 hours ranked matchmaking. That's all I'm doing.
No, not if you want to be a pro. So
Really?
No.
Tell me more.
Every single game has. Remember, guys, every single game, every single sport has a scoring system. Every single competition has a goal at the end, right? Either crossing the finish line, scoring that goal post, or getting the most eliminations.
Yeah.
In order to do that, there are optimized ways of performing. And the best way to learn is to watch the pros that are already in the scene. See the fundamentals, see what they're doing on a day-to-day basis or on every competition, things that don't change. Not the strategy per se of the team, but the things that doesn't matter who you're watching, if they're a pro, they're doing it. And those are the fundamentals that you really want to grab onto and watch a lot of VOD review. So those videos, really important.
Absolutely. What's going on, Chaotic? Good to see you this morning, man. No, 100%. So I did it as a joke because a lot of times, so we hear from people coming in that want to become eSport pros, right? They always go, hey, man, I've been playing every day for 8 to 10 hours a day, man. I'm like, that's great, dude. You're not doing it right.
No, you really got to check that head for a concussion because they've been banging the head against the wall.
Yeah,
for
man,
those 8
like
hours.
absolutely. So it's the same. So if you look at any traditional sports, and like, look, this is the thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do in life, right? There's a certain way to do things, and it's understanding the building blocks of getting to where you are, and those building blocks do not change no matter what you're looking at, right? Like this is a reality. Okay, if I want to become, say, a marathon runner, I'm not just going to wake up one morning and go, cool, I'm going to run a marathon every day until I'm good at running marathons. You're going to break your knees off. Your feet are going to so you can't do that. And by the way, it's the same thing. Overuse injuries also happen in esports. Carpal tunnel, arthritis, all these things, right? These things pop up. You actually have had to deal with this yourself quite a bit.
Yes.
So one of the things that you have to do is it's not just about like, oh, I'm practicing a lot. I'm playing a lot. It's how are you practicing? When you set aside a block of time in your day to devote to getting better at something, are you coming at it in the right angle?
You got to have an active mind. You got to work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
And I know that's turned into a cheesy thing to say, but it's the reality. And the reason that it's repeated so often, it's because it's true in so many different facets. Right, so
stop running marathons, Chaotic.
Chaotic, yeah. And go see a doctor, please.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So for example, StarCraft, one of the most popular esports in esport history.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It was one of the pillars, and it still is the king of RTS, arguably so. A lot of players that reach their top of their game, they were grandmasters, but not quite pro yet, right? That's what I like to call the amateur competitive scene. They ended up with carpal tunnel and a lot of stress on their joints because they're going at 500 actions per minute. Great, you can hit those 500 actions per minute, but one of the things that I learned was they would forget sometimes simple things, that it wasn't about clicking as fast as you could. It's not about your APM, it's about your EPM, your effective actions per minute, right? So it didn't matter if you were 200 APM below the next guy, you could still beat him.
100%. I mean, like that's like the thing that you have to look at with anything. It's all about efficiency, whether you're practicing or whether you're in the game. It's super important. And that's the thing, like when it comes down to it. Actually, I do want to ask you this. So let's say that I have a 6-hour training block, right? So I want to practice 6 hours every single day. How much of that time should I devote to VOD review before I even touch the game?
Oh, God. So
how much time do you think would be an effective? Like, I'm putting him on the spot. I did that. He is not prepped at all.
No.
This is off the top of his head. So, Coach Luis.
Well, that gets a little bit more into it depends side of the house, because every student is different. And the level at which you're entering your practice for these 6 hours is different, right? So if you are brand new to the game, the first thing you want to do is at least learn the basics of the game, right? You're going to want to play a little bit, so maybe give yourself like an hour or two of gameplay and then record that. Watch then what the pros have been doing for another 2 hours, and then watch your VOD review so you know what you're looking for, right? If you don't have a coach, you have to teach yourself, which means that you need to see what the pros are doing and apply that to your own performance.
Same right there. Even Caleb saying it.
Yep. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality of it, man. So like, and like what Luis is saying is very, very true. Like, it really comes down to, where you are in your journey. There is no, oh, hey, cookie cutter. Okay, if you're a beginner player, you're here. If you're an intermediate player, you're here. If you're advanced or pro, you're here. Every single player has a different level of growth. And that's the thing that Absolutely. I had to learn, right? And this is the thing I say, like, it parallels many other things in your life. So, for example, like in the military, there are some guys that come right into the military. They're already in really great shape. So we can throw them straight into, okay, cool, start learning how to do the job that we brought you in as we get to your first unit, right? Other guys, they're not there yet. So you have to kind of, okay, man, we have to focus more on these particular elements to get you well-rounded enough to step into the next roles. Yep. And it's the same thing with promotion. Okay, cool. You've learned this foundation. Now we're going to advance you on to the next thing and then the next thing, right? And it's all about building blocks. If the foundation itself is weak, the house is going to fall apart.
It's not just enough to know what you have to do. You have to be consistent in it, right? So let's say you set yourself a goal that for every match, you want to get at least 5 eliminations on a battle royale like Apex, right?
Yep.
That, although, granted, those stats are meaningless.
Wait. I'm going for 6.
Okay, you're going for 6. Good for you. But those stats are meaningless, really. The eliminations alone don't say how good of a player you are. But let's say that's your goal, right? If you hit it once, that doesn't mean that you've passed the test. You have to
I like this.
Hit it consistently. Like, out of 10 matches, at least 8 of them, you have to hit it. And then you can move on to the next thing. And usually, depending on the type of student that you are, it's how fast that'll progress. Some people can take a week. Some people can take a whole month. Don't be frustrated with your growth, because the moment that your mental goes out, that's the moment that you know you're not cut out for esports.
Yep, absolutely. Nick, what's up, man? Oh, dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I am so glad you brought that up. That is one of the things that I hear all the time. I don't understand why I'm ranked so low in whatever game. I mean, I just beat a master ranked player. So yeah, dude, you did it one time.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything.
There's so many factors involved. The amount of times I hear from League of Legends players, Apex players, Halo players, oh, I've beat X person, or I've done X rank, or I've won X tournament. I'm like, congratulations. But the reason that you're still in, let's say, in silver in League of Legends is because your win ratio is still below 55%.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're winning most of them, but you're not winning enough to progress.
Exactly.
Right? And if your goal was to get to that 60%, then I'm sorry, your consistency just isn't there. Winning that one match against that one diamond player who was way above you doesn't mean that you're better than the entire tier.
Yeah. And that's one thing too. Like, I'm glad that Caleb's in here too, because he can chime in on like in the chat. You know, you look at the fighting game community. So I have come to love the FGC leverless controllers. Hitbox is a brand, but anyway, when you look at that, like when I was playing against King Gambler when he first came down, because I was like, dude, like I just want to see like what level I'm at, right? And he was just beating me across the screen. It was ridiculous,
and he was going easy.
He wasn't even trying, and I knew he wasn't trying because people would come up to talk to him, and he wouldn't even be watching the screen. He's talking to them while he's beating me, and I am sweating, okay? And I asked him after, I'm like, dude, I don't, like, that's insane how you got to this point. And he said it's literally over a decade of training, of preparation, of learning frame data, of all these different things, so where I can hear audio cues, know what's about to happen, and go, okay, I respond with this combo. So if I'm seeing this person, I know when to block, I know when to push, I know like all these different things, and it just goes into it at such a deep level. You know, when you look at the FGC, it's not just cool, I'm going to mash buttons until something happens. These guys know exactly what they're doing, exactly what combos to hit. Okay, like if you're doing this, I'm going to do this. It's there it is right there. So learn them, you can apply them across other fighting games. Like, and that's it. And that, by the way, is the reason why I suck at fighting games, because I don't know the fundamentals.
Well, fundamentals
never will too, by the way. Sorry,
are the most important part, and they do take sometimes the most time.
Yeah.
To build that foundation, right, in order to build the whole building. The other thing that I really, really want to bring up is, like, for example, King Gambler. Yes, he has over a decade of experience in fighting games, and a lot of people ask, especially people who aren't in the esports scene, they go, how do you have a decade of practice in X game when the game's only been out for like 2 or 3 years? And the reality is that the skills that you learn in the fighting game community can translate easily. The fundamentals translate. Same thing with first-person shooters. Same thing with RTS, right? For real-time strategy games, RTS, one of the fundamentals is resource management, right? And the ability to know when to deploy what resource and not to float resources. And that's something that it doesn't matter what...
I'm sorry, I have to jump in real fast and say this. So what he's talking about is absolutely true. So this goes to show like how you have to learn different things, right? So I remember we were playing Company of Heroes 3. Yep. This was a while ago. This is one of my favorite stories of all time,
ago,
right?
I think.
Yeah. This was like 2 years ago. And I am like, I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm doing great, guys, right? And they're like, and I'm watching, you and Fulton were playing with me.
Yep.
And they're just throwing out all this stuff. And I was going to go like, and I keep hearing them say like, I don't have enough for this yet. Like I'm waiting for it to like queue up. And I go, wait a minute, dude. Like, dude, I'm doing way better than they are because I've got thousands of resources, tens of thousands. I could buy whatever I want right now. And when I finally brought that up, like Luis and Fulton come like over to my side to go look what I was doing, and they're like, "You are so under the foul of it's crazy. Yeah. What are you doing?" And once again, that just goes to show, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I am here. Yep. I'm doing better than the hardcore RTS players. I'm up here. This is why it comes down to, as he's going to go back into real quick, understanding how the game actually works. And why is resource floating a bad idea?
So the reality is that in the skills that I learned by playing strategy games, I have been playing strategy games for a very long time.
He has indeed.
Like a very, very long time. And most of the skills I learned while playing StarCraft 2, right? When I started playing,
game. I'm sorry, I've said it again. It's such a good game.
Great game to learn your fundamentals for most of esports. If you are looking for a game to just learn and apply to other things, that's a game that won't let you down even if you don't go pro.
Yep.
There is always lessons there.
Anyways,
So
now. Just saying.
yeah,
Didn't before, now I do.
now you do. Now we got a match one day.
Oh God, he's gonna whip my butt, yo.
Yeah, we might stream it. We'll see.
I'm down for that actually. Little Moodles gets embarrassed showdown.
We'll see.
This guy's goated.
I have not played in a while.
You're so goated.
But like I said, fundamentals will still be there, right?
Yep.
And for Moodle's example on Company of Heroes, floating resources, one of the things that you learn is that if you're not spending, you're wasting. You're wasting time. So real-time strategy games, right? You're managing time as best as you can.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. Yeah, exactly. So that's what happens. If you're not spending those resources, that means that you're not using them, which means that your opponent has an advantage on the field over you. Either it's upgrades or units or map control, all these factors that then play into you either winning or losing the game.
Yep. And that's the thing, by the way, and what I was saying is very, very true because it bleeds over into everything that we play now. So, for example, it's really funny because I got dragged into Stellaris, right? I wanted to try it, looked really cool. And I'm like, sweet, dude, like this is going to be fun. So I jump into Stellaris once again, not understanding resource management, not understanding how to properly build up my cute little empire. And I'm playing the game with them and I'm going, okay, cool. And I'm trying to expand out as far as I possibly can. But the issue was that because I was expanding too quickly and not fortifying my position and using what I had as for resources and doing things correctly, I expanded too quickly. And then my neighbor decided that he did not want to be friendly or a neighbor, that he wanted to actually own my property. So he declared war on me.
Easy pickings.
And I'm like, dude, it's okay, bro. I've got like all these ships that are super low level and can't do nothing. So it was hilarious because I start getting jacked up and I'm like, this is horrific. And I remember we were upstairs in the house on base.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Luis, I'm getting wrecked. He's like, it can't be that bad because he was playing right behind me. So he got up and came over and he sees it. And the army, so like in Solaris, there's like a bunch of little so it's like planet to planet to planet to planet, right? And it's all connected.
It's a galactic map.
It's a galactic map. We're watching the army of the other guy just going zoop, 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 zoop. And it's not supposed to be doing that. It's supposed to be like zoop, sits there for a while. Zoop, like if you're losing. Mine was just done, 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 done. So he's watching real time without just getting annihilated.
The other empire pressed Alt Control Delete on his empire.
Yes, they really did. So Luis got back to he's like, guys, you have to help out Dan right now because he's getting wiped.
But that's the reality. That's a Paradox game. And
yeah.
A lot of Paradox games.
So good though.
What I like about them is that they have a high learning curve. If you're not a person with patience, if you're not a person with discipline, you're not going to learn that game.
Yeah, that's me. I suck with everything of that. So no.
You got the discipline. You just, for some reason, you lack the patience to sit down. But you will if you put something down, you schedule it, you do it. And that's what's helped you in other games, like in first-person shooters and in extraction shooters in particular, like Tarkov.
Yeah, I love it, man. But that's the thing, that I'm really, and one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up, by the way, when it comes to VOD review and the importance of this stuff, by the way, is because we are now partnered with Fantastic Wii.
Absolutely.
And I really think, I'm going to tell you this right now, like one of the biggest things, and I'm telling you, out of probably 95% of people that I talk to that go, I want to be in esports, they never once mention VOD review.
Oh, no. VOD review is... Sometimes even when I mention it to people who ask me, they either ask me what it is or they hate it. And when I hear that they hate it, it's like a kid telling me that they don't like to eat their vegetables.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So
that's the comparison.
You have got to be able to take time out of your day if you are serious about this. And look, this is the reality of it, man. Every single one of us has something that we don't like doing, okay? When I started learning StarCraft 2, and by the way, I had no aspirations of going pro in the game. I'm 31 years old, people. This is not going to happen.
You don't have the time anymore.
Yeah, that train departed like over a decade ago. Well, actually, probably 15 years at this point now. But here's the reality, right? I wanted to learn how to play the game properly. Even if I'm not going to go pro in it, I'm still like, okay, I want to know the fundamentals of how to play this game properly. So I started watching pros.
Yep.
I started getting into, okay, how do I hotkey correctly? How do I control? Because when I was playing, everyone was going, hey, man, you're not hotkeying spots on the map. So now when you're trying to go over there, you have to click. So like, that's the thing about StarCraft 2, real-time strategy game, every single thing in the game is how quickly can you execute a said action and how efficiently can you do it. It's not just cool. Let me click on this, right? So that's why you hotkey everything.
Yep.
And I mean everything. So when you are starting off, literally the first probably 15 seconds of the match is getting your build order correct, getting all of the right spots on the map hotkeyed out.
It's your setup.
It's your entire setup. That's like the first part. And by the way, this is what's crazy about StarCraft 2. When you get to the higher levels, if you are even 1 second slower than your opponent, you are already losing the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you don't even need to reach the pro level to notice that. You
learn it pretty quick, even with bots.
Even with bots, you start learning that if you're behind in time, even by a few seconds, that means that your entire strategy just...
Yeah, it's tanked.
It's tanked because that one Colossus that you were building is delayed by 5 seconds, which means that when the engagement happened and all the damage was dealt, it wasn't in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's the question, right, is how do you learn these things? So if I don't have a direct mentor, if I don't have a direct coach, and by the way, even if you have a direct mentor or a coach, they are still going to tell you to do VOD review.
Yep.
They're going to, and if you don't do it, they're going to drag you in and be like, cool, we're both going to do this together, and I'm going to be way more savage to you than you are to yourself.
If the coach is worth their salt, they will not care about your feelings when coaching you. And you cannot take it personally when you're told you're bad, I'm teaching you how to be good.
Yep.
Right.
And that's one of the things too, right? So when I started learning how to play StarCraft 2 and I was getting my fundamentals down, Luis jumped into the game and was watching me over Discord. And he was like, oh, bro, you're not like, hey, do this. Think about this, right? I'd be playing the game, and all of a sudden I would hear like this little this angelic voice from above. Have you checked your third base yet? What do you mean? Oh, I forgot to, right? Because I would forget to do things, right? So what ends up happening is that you have that person over your shoulder telling you, hey, dude, you're messing this up.
Yep.
So where does VOD review fit into preparing to be an esports player, like growing your fundamentals, growing like advanced level skills as well, right?
Yep.
Here's the reality. Everywhere.
Yep. Every little thing.
At no point in your career does it ever stop. Not at all. I don't care if you're brand new. I don't care if you've been a top esport pro for the past 5 years. You're doing VOD review.
Absolutely.
Every single day. You will eat your vegetables
as long
every
as you're
single day.
serious about being number one or wanting to be amongst the top 10.
Yep.
You got to do it.
Now, here's the best part about it, right? That's why I said before. We have partnered with Fantastic Wii. So what Fantastic Wii is, it is a software that enables you to take your gameplay footage from whatever game you play, you put it in with the software, and you can now go in and frame by frame watch the game you just played or games that pros have played. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can go through and you can mark it. You can mark, hey, I could have done this better. Or, hey, I did this really, really well. And you start to build yourself through the software data points.
Yep. And let me just say, this is really nice because I tested this software with our players here at DG, and I remember everything that they're doing now on a screen I had to do on a notepad with a pencil. And then I had to record it using the in-game record feature, which wasn't always the best. And that was back in the day how you would do it. I would, by the second, every single second, there was a line on my notepad saying what was happening, what I should have been doing, what I wasn't doing. And that was like how it was done before. Now with this software, it already records it for you.
Yeah.
There are keyboards that you're going to be able to import from coaches to help you, like say, you know, you're new to the game, you don't know exactly what call outs are made, what rotations are called, or what your strategy should be. Well, these keyboards kind of help you like to know
exactly
what you should be marking, because you don't want to make the mistake of, and I know everybody has had this experience or know somebody with this experience where they're in school and they open their textbook and they're highlighting the important stuff and then they've highlighted the entire page.
Yep. You're like, wait, which part do I read?
If everything is important, then none of it is important.
Exactly.
And the reality about VOD review is that it should go in tangent with the goal of what you're trying to learn at that time.
Yep.
Is there more things you can mark? Absolutely. In 5 minutes of StarCraft, I spent 4 hours doing a review of it.
That's crazy.
That should show you how far in detail you can be about this. But it doesn't have to be like that, especially when you're starting out and you don't know how to do it properly. One of the best things to do is, as when you take an exam, you first need to know what to ask yourself, what the question is. Then you read the prompt, right?
Yep.
And then you can answer the question. So first you would watch the pros.
Exactly.
Spend a couple of hours watching pros. Now you know what they're doing. Select a goal. Make your question. Then jump into the game. Try to perform it. You don't know if you actually did it until afterwards when you rewatch it in the video review.
Yep.
And there you can go, okay, did I do it or didn't I do it?
There you go. And the cool thing about Fantastic Wii is that while you're doing this, by the way, it's literally breaking down for you data. Like, this is performance-driven data. This is where you can improve. This is where you're strong. This is where you're weak, whatever it is.
Your mental game.
And this is the thing about performance, like, this is anything to do with data-driven performance, okay? As we said earlier, like any good coach, any good mentor, they don't care about your feelings. Their goal is to get you from being where you currently are to where you want to be. Fantastic Wii shows you this is your potential. You can hit these marks, but we're not necessarily going to be gentle with it. We're just going to tell you, hey, this is raw data. You want to know how to improve? These several pillars or like whatever. And that changes as you grow as a player. This is the thing where we say VOD review is so important. There never comes a point where you've mastered a game. No. Ever. Like, going back to StarCraft 2, Cyril, I know, like, he's one of the most controversial players because people either love him or hate him. Like, it's so funny. Like, he is a polarizing person in esports. I personally love Cyril. I think Cyril's great. Cyril, and this was like, man, how long has StarCraft 2 been out at this point?
Oh, dear. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been over a decade.
This dude came in and was like, I'm going to do something with Space Cows that has never been done before in this esport. Literally broke the game in tournament to a point where not even the casters themselves understood what he was doing.
Yeah, they were confused.
They were like, wait, what just happened? Like, I don't understand. And then Blizzard had to go in and fix it because they're like, this is actually way OP. And we have to, so you can sit there and say to yourself, oh, like, I've been playing this game for 15 years. I know everything there is to know about this game. I promise you, you don't.
Yep.
There's always something else to learn. And by the way, if you're not learning it, somebody else is, and they're going to wreck you down the road with it.
Yep. In fighting games, it's that new combo.
Yep.
Right? There's an update that comes out, math changes, there's a new combo, and if you're not able to figure it out before the tournament, you're toast.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a real question, right? Do you want to be a part of the future, which is Fantastic Wii? I'm telling you this right now. Like, this software is going to go the distance. I am beyond pumped. Our players have used it. It is unbelievably well
not just
done.
Our players, there is already like Fantastic Wii before they came to us. They already had success stories within CS:GO, which is a very high skill ceiling game. It is the king of first person shooters.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Pillar of esports, right? And they turned an amateur into a pro within a year. I think it was like within 6 months or something like that.
No, it took a lot of work. He put a lot of time in. He was dedicated and ready to go. And this is the thing, guys, with anything that you do, right? I'm not telling you, sign up for Fantastic Wii. You are guaranteed to make it to a high level.
It's on you.
It's on you, okay? All this program does is it gives you real-time feedback in your VOD reviews on where you can improve, all that jazz, right? So if you want to get better, Fantastic Wii is an excellent tool to use. Absolutely. And that's what it is. It's a tool. If I bring you a shovel and say the shovel will help you dig holes, and you go, sweet, and you lay the shovel out in your front yard, and you walk into your house, and you're like, the shovel's been out there for like 3 hours. Why there's no holes? You have to pick it up. You have to use it. You have to put in the work. That's what Fantastic Wii is. It streamlines your practice and your workflow to maximize your potential in the shortest amount of time possible. So if you want to become the most efficient version of yourself, Fantastic Wii. I'm telling you, check it out. It's
really like that
fantasticwii.com.
analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shovel, I mean, do you want to be digging with your hands or with a shovel?
Yeah. I mean, you can do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Pull out the notepad, man, sit down there and be like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this, as Luis used to do. But I'm telling you this right now, if Fantastic Wii had been out when you and your crew were going through doing all that stuff,
yeah,
they'd be using Fantastic Wii. They'd be like, this is worth it. And by the way, it's only $5 a month. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
it.
incredibly cheap.
$5 a month.
A bunch of other software that I've seen a lot of pros use, they require subscriptions that are like $20 to $30 a month.
Yeah.
And they don't even have half the stuff that Fantastic Wii offers because they're not actually for VOD review. They're more directed towards content creation, and they just use those tools to like record their games, and then they still code with a notepad and pencil, right?
Fantastic Wii eliminates all of that, makes it easy, makes it streamlined, and it's cheap.
Yep.
And that's the thing too, by the way. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. It's not cheap, it's inexpensive, because cheap denotes that it's a crappy product, and it is not a crappy product. It is a phenomenal product. It is inexpensive. You are getting a premium product at a very inexpensive price. It's honestly, I'm handing you the keys to your future. Reach out and take them, dude. Come on. And Tankers, I saw you earlier, brother. How you doing, Tankers? Good to see you, man. Tankers has been playing in our online Borderland League. So missed you on Saturday, bro. I was hoping to see you guys show up, man. But I get it. You guys are probably busy. It's all good.
Life takes over.
It does, man. Life definitely does get busy. But yeah, no, seriously, guys, check out Fantastic Wii. It is a phenomenal program. I am super pumped that we actually got to work with these guys. Sammy and Efrat are just phenomenal. I love the both of them. They are great people. Yeah.
Really focused on this project. They really want to deliver a good product. And what I'm excited about is finally North America. I mean, with this push into esports that we are making here at Damascus Gaming.
Oh, that's right.
And with our partners, we are really trying to improve the general culture of esports in North America.
Yep.
Where predominantly in Asia, internet cafes stuck around for so long, right? It was because they didn't really, per household back then, have the money to everybody buy a computer or their own console, versus in the U.S., people did. And a lot of internet cafes in the U.S. ended up dying out. And even today, I mean, even here in El Paso, where a large portion of the population plays video games, getting them to sit down at our LAN center to play games, if it's not related to an event or to a coaching session, it's a bit of a struggle because they already have systems at home, and they're like, well, why should I go over there if I already have this at home? Well, one of the key aspects that you miss by not going to an internet cafe, a LAN center, a PC bang, whatever you want to call it, is the community and the competition. So...
And also, I will also add this too, by the way, because we're talking about like eSport pros a lot. One of the best things to do if you're actually on the grind to become a better player is to actually sit around with your friends in person and actually go over to those gameplay together, sitting down, playing matches. You know, having in Luis's side for StarCraft 2, they called it being a drill
sergeant.
Being drill sergeant.
Well, that would require somebody like a coach who knows what they're talking about. Exactly. And being drill sergeant is a very particular and very intense way of training that works, but you have to let go of your ego 100%.
You absolutely have to.
There's no pride in it. There's no ego in it. The way that it works is that this expert is your brain, and he is playing with and he is directing your hands.
Yep.
You have to shut down your brain and do exactly as he says. You can't, no ifs, no buts, no questions about it. If it doesn't work, you discuss it afterwards. And this does two things. One, it builds muscle memory.
Yep.
And two, it demonstrates that you can do these things that you're being told that are the proper way of doing it, right?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times people doubt themselves. They go like, oh, I'm just not fast enough.
So I did not know that I had been drill sergeant in Halo Infinite until I heard about that term, because when I was playing with, this was crazy, by the way, Elamite Warrior was in one of my ranked matches, and I went insane because I love that dude. I've been a massive straight ripping fan for Halo for a very long time. And obviously he was one of the members that took that team to the national championship and then won it. So I was like, oh my God. Right. But anyway, we get queued up with him in matchmaking, and I go crazy. And very quickly, Elamite Warrior figured out that we all sucked and that he was so far above us in skill level. So he literally began to do that to us.
Yep.
Stop doing what you're doing. Start doing what I'm telling you to do. Shut the ego off. Let's go. And you find out very quickly, and I mean very quickly, the level of knowledge that these dudes have. Elamite Warrior was reacting to things before they even happened in game. He's going, okay, cool. We're on this side. Objectives here. They're going to spawn here. They're going to push 2 over this way, yada, yada. So he's breaking it down real time up to 15 to 30 seconds before it even happens in game, which is the reason why, by the way, if you ever play against high-level pros and you go, dude, I don't understand how I'm literally getting killed off spawn.
Oh, easy.
That's why. These guys understand the game at a fundamental level. When we're talking about fundamentals, we're not just talking about can you aim? Can you throw grenades accurately? Do you understand the fundamentals of how the game actually works? So for Halo, do you understand the objective games? Do you understand the routes to run?
Map rotations.
Do you understand spawns? Do you understand like all these individual features, which Luis could go on and on about, by the way, for like the next 20 minutes, because there's that much when it comes to fundamentals. But people think that it's just like, oh, dude, it's just I can shoot well and throw grenades. No, dude. Same thing with Counter-Strike, right? People think that Counter-Strike is, hey, dude, it's all about aiming. No, it's not. Sit down and just watch an IEM. Watch what those pros are doing.
Reality
it's crazy.
Is, after a certain level, everybody can aim. Unless aiming is like the bare bones minimum to play the game, right? A lot of first-person shooters, it's about rotations. And knowing that you can't stay put for too long, knowing where your enemy is going to come from, and when you understand those two things, you know where to put yourself to intercept, right? And that's what ends up making the difference in Call of Duty, CSGO, Valorant, and Halo. I mean, I can keep going.
So, like, actually, really good point for this. We were watching, I think it was IEM, I think it was Catalyst. We were watching it with Scott. And Scott's going, dude, I'm convinced that these guys are cheating. Like, they're shooting dudes through, like, the smoke. And I told him, like, you have to understand, when you play a game for that long, at that level, and you've been practicing the right way for that amount of time, you understand there's only so many routes that somebody can take. And so in your mind, you're like, there's a 70% chance a guy's going to be right there right now. That's a high enough percentage. That's a high enough shot for me. I'm going to take it real quick. I just want to see what happens. So they take those gambles. They take those risks because for them, it's reward and risk. Okay, what's the percentage of this happening? So StarCraft 2, lesson I had to learn. Playing one day and I heard a little angelic Luis voice over my head. Why aren't you scouting? Why is that important, Luis? Why should I scout in a game?
If you don't know what your opponent's doing, then you don't know what to prepare for.
Oh, snap. You mean I have to prepare for things in a game?
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So that's what you're doing, right? Everything you do. So, like, when it comes to things, right, it's information is important. Like, I hear all the time, like, people go, like, hey, like, in FPS games, I have to have a great headset. Why do you have to have a great headset?
Information.
I have to hear something, right? And that's it right there, right? What are footsteps? It's information. Everything about esports is information.
Everything.
I want to know where my opponent is at all times, so that way I can react to what he's doing, cut him off, shut him down. In StarCraft 2, I am scouting because I want to know, okay, what build are you doing, which takes the fundamentals of knowing, okay, it's not just the race that I am playing. It's, okay, cool, he's playing Protoss. Okay, I have to now react to that and then react to what he's building.
If he's going gateway, if he's going to go for armor, air, there's different strategies, and each one equates resources spent on that. So let's say he decided to build a couple of gateways out, at the very beginning, then you know that for the next minute, at the very minimum, he won't have any air because he can't afford it. He doesn't have the gas because he decided to spend the minerals on the second gateway instead of on another gas extractor, right?
Yep.
So that's the math that goes, and pros are able to see it, and they already know what it means. They don't have to do the math in their head. That's the difference between a pro and everybody else, right?
Yep.
It's the muscle memory, and you only get that via practice.
Yep, absolutely. So, moral of the story, VOD review, practice, get the information in your head, learn it the best way you can. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is Fantastic Wii. I think Fantastic Wii just offers you just such a great product. I really do. And that's one thing, too, by the way. I guess we are partnered, and people are going to be like, oh, my gosh, they're advertising a product. I only advertise things that I believe in.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's insane. You've got to understand that when you get up to those pro levels, man, they are reacting to things you have not even considered yet half the time.
Yeah, because at that point, it's not reacting. They're being proactive.
Yeah, they're like, okay, cool. Check it out, man. Like, and that's the reason.
They're controlling the tempo.
Yeah, I love watching StarCraft 2 pros because I like when you get to that high level, you know, and you have to think about this too. Like, I remember this is so funny. We were sitting at Dallas watching the StarCraft 2 Masters, and I forgot who we were watching. I think it was Oliveira. Yeah. But it was like at one point he was hitting like 700 plus actions per minute.
Oh, there was at one point that the counter broke.
Yeah,
and it got stuck at over 1,000.
Literally, and so I looked over at Luis. I'm like, dude, it would not surprise me if at some point you see smoke starting to rise from the keyboard because he's just melting that thing going so fast. And you have to think about this, right? Actually, let's break this down real quick because I actually want to do this real quick.
So while he does that, I actually did have a keyboard melt on me back in college due to multiple things. Amongst them was definitely clicking too fast.
Yeah. So let's just break this down real quick. That's 16 actions per second.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Remember, guys, you only have 10 fingers.
So if we break this down even further, so even at 700, which is still insane, that's about 12 actions per second.
That's more actions than you have fingers.
This is all I was born with. Does Oliveira have an extra pinky or something?
Nope.
Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
He just knows exactly where to move his hands.
And that's the thing too, by the way. Now, could I jump into StarCraft 2 and increase my actions per minute and try to get to that level? Yeah, I can gorilla pound the keyboard if something happens, right? They're doing it with purpose. It's not just superfluous. Okay, like I'm just doing this randomly, right? I could bump my APM up by just swapping back and forth between bases on freaking camera hotkeys.
Yep. Which brings me to another thing. A lot of people, they think when they're seeing pros, move their fingers a lot and they're not really doing anything at the time, they're like, oh, they're just wasting. They're just keeping their APM up on purpose. It's like, well, what they're doing there is they're keeping their hands warm, right? Yep. Even that it is a purpose in and of itself. And that translates a lot to first-person shooters as well, where also MOBAs, where people don't like to practice. There's always practice modes on these games nowadays. And I highly recommend that you use them because you need to warm up. It's like before you go play a football game, you have to stretch. Same thing, you got to warm up your muscle memory. You got to start getting into the grind of it. And if you don't do that, then you should be expecting to lose because the people you're playing against, you have to assume that they've already been warmed up. They've already played more games than you, or they did the practice that you didn't do, X, Y, and Z. And in a game where you're trying to grow and get better, spending 5-10 minutes just warming up should be a non-issue.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to pivot a little bit off of this topic real fast because we do have about 5 minutes left. And I normally don't do this on podcasts, but let's go ahead and talk about this real fast. So, the Borderland League. Let's talk about this real quick, okay? So here's the deal. The Borderland League is going to be starting up here very, very soon. I am getting the final touches put in right now because I have to work with some of our sponsors. Yep. It is going to be, as I said before, a bi-weekly tournament depending on which bracket you are in.
Yes.
Okay? Main bracket will take place 1 week. Academy bracket will take place the next week. The prize pool, I'm announcing it here right now. Prize pool for the entire bad boy, $5,000.
$5,000.
$5,000. The way it's going to work, there will be pools set up on the week before the tournament starts. You have to earn your slot to make it in. We are only accepting 16 teams. And the reason why we're only taking in 16 teams, we do not have the capacity to run more than that. Unfortunately, I wish that I could. But here's the problem. And anyone that has played in the Borderland League so far will tell you, we go oftentimes until midnight.
Oh, 2
The
a.m.
last one was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
It's a long time to run this stuff, so we have to cut it down, okay? We are going to be running it just like CDL Challengers. So until you get up to the semifinals, it is best of 5, single elimination every single week, and you guys are fighting for points. So it is very, very important because when we get down to it, you're going to be seeded into a LAN event, and that LAN event is going to be right here at Damascus Gaming. Whoever walks away from that LAN event is going to have some serious freaking cash prize pools, man.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on the numbers right now for it, but this could be some really nice money for some people. I already know the Tankers is like, I got my squad, bro. He's ready to go, dude. T250K, man. Bro, let me tell you something. Hang on. Dude, let me. T250K, man. That Roscoe play. Oh, my God. That was nasty. That was nasty. T250K showed up, man. They are the overall champs, by the way. That's it. They are the champs. So date estimate. This is what I'm looking at right now. I am looking at running the pools on July 12th. That's when I want to kick this thing off. That's going to be the pools. I want to give people some time to kind of figure out all this jazz, right? This bad boy is going to run, I'm looking at 2 months. I might push it to 3, but I'm thinking I'm going to keep it on 2. And the reason why I'm looking at this, I think that 4 weeks of competition is kind of that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And with the bi-weekly, it puts it right into that thing. I also don't want to burn people out. We got asked a lot, why did you guys do, the events back to back to back? For the test season. We did that on purpose. I wanted to see the limits of what we could push.
The burnout rate.
Yeah, all that stuff. So this has given us all this. Yeah, this has given us a lot of really good feedback. And we're ready to roll, man. So
absolutely.
This is going to be insane. Even the production that you guys have seen so far, that is actually being revamped for this. It's going to look even better for the actual event. It's what I've been building right now. It's ridiculous. This is going to be a really high level event. I actually would not be surprised to get caught up Activision and go shut down. You guys are doing too much. Chill.
Nah.
But I don't know. I normally, because as I said before, I went to go look for TLAs for Activision. They don't have them anymore. So I don't know if they just stopped caring or if we're going to get kind of slapped in the face. I don't know yet. So Tankers, by the way, so you know, if we get anything from Activision, we're just going to blame you.
Yep.
So Tankers, just be prepared, man. If we get told anything, we're just be like, "Hey, go talk to Tankers, man." We have his Instagram. You can reach out to him, and he's the guy to put any and all lawsuits towards him.
And if you guys really want to prepare for this event and have a chance at that 5G, do download Fantastic Week. Do sign up. Do that VOD review. Practice what we just lectured on.
Yeah, big time. Tankers like, don't worry, Tankers. Look, that's how it works, man. Okay, just kick the buck down, right? So we're passing it to you. You pass it down to Savini, and he'll have to sell his car. Totally fine.
Oh, perfect.
It works out just fine, dude. So it's great.
I see no problem with this.
Not at all. Not at all. Anyway, y'all, that is going to be it for us today here on the Game Changers podcast. We do appreciate y'all swinging by. Dude, Luis, thank you for jumping in, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Dude, you're stuck with me. It's like, thank you for, no. But anyway, guys, we appreciate y'all. We will see you guys in the next one. By the way, do remember, if you have not swung by the Land Center Bank, make sure you come and check it out. Tankers, I sent it. Let me go look at why you don't have it. That's weird.
We'll be double checking that.
Yeah,
Tankers.
let me double check that because Trauma Org got paid out. So let me double check why you didn't get yours. That's really weird. Okay, I will do some investigation. Anyway, guys, we will see you all in the next one.
Thank you for stopping by.
Oh my God. hitting the button. Sweet.